today I'm going to try to blaze a trail to the top of Red Oak Mountain, which you can see if you're in town. Hopefully this is one that as a hiking club like in Red Oak we can take more often. I just want to get a definite like path recorded to the top, and my goal is to go to the top today and then come down the west side, which would be out toward Boggy, out by Dennis Hawley's place. So anyway, that's the goal. Just a reminder before you go hiking anywhere, if it's not public property, if it's not public land, be sure that you get the permission of the property owner. That's important. And if you go during a hunting season, wear hunter orange when you go out in the woods too. So anyway, I'm starting from the end of Elm Street, where it kind of dead ends right here and makes this turn onto 2nd Street, which is where my house is. Anyway, I'm gonna cross an area right here onto school property and then cut down by the baseball field onto the street, and then from the street through a pasture, and then be up the mountain. Okay, so I've crossed from my street, the school property, which the part of school property that I came out on was where was behind the pig barn. And it's where all the used shavings get dumped. That was a fun walk. Lesson learned on that one for next time. Now I'm on, I've crossed onto private property. There's the mountain behind me. And listen, I know that anybody who's lived or grown up in Red Oak, the mountain's always been there and you really don't give it another thought. But I've been up it a couple times. Once with my kids almost to the top. They gave out, we had to turn around and come back. And then once all the way to the top with my grandpa about 25 years ago. And that was something. So I'm anxious to go to the top again and see what it's like. And it really is beautiful. Like this is a hike that if you like the outdoors and you live in Red Oak, this is really something you should do, because it really is kind of a hidden gem in your own backyard. So to the top we go. Okay, so this is where it all kind of begins in earnest. If you look at the history of Red Oak, back when the town was first getting started, 100, 120 years ago, the pine trees that come off the mountain stretched all the way down into what we would like now call the middle of town. And so you really kind of almost have to go all the way to the foot of the mountain anymore to get to that so-called, I guess, wilderness. But anyway, this is where it starts. I see some deer feeders, so I'm glad it's not hunting season. But anyway, we're gonna start now through the woods. What I try to do, at least what I did the last time I came with the kids, what I try to do is find a creek, a cool weather creek that comes off the mountain, and follow it up. But that's not always the best thing to do, because it can get kind of steep. So I'm gonna try to stick to as open a path as I can get, so that hopefully my app will record it, and then if we come back with the hiking club, it'll be easy to follow back up. Okay, I don't know if this does it justice, but it starts to go really steep uphill from here. This is the part where where the kids and I, where we had to turn around and come back a few years ago when we tried coming up this. This is tough. So far we've gained about 300 feet in elevation. It feels like 3,000 feet. Okay, I think everybody in Red Oak should get to see this, because if you have never been to the top of this thing, you really should. You really should climb it. It's hard, I'm not going to lie. And there's a bunch of y'all that probably have climbed it. But like the last 200 feet are so hard. It's like straight up, like climbing hand over hand, but you can see the whole town from up here. If you look down that way, you can see almost all the way to Wilburton. I'm not up far enough yet above the trees where I can see the other way. But I mean, you can see the school. There's the softball field, the baseball field. I mean, everything. It's just such an awesome view from up here, and it's from my house to right here is 1 mile. So it's not a long ways. It's just a workout, but it's so cool. It's so worth it. And anyway, if you had never seen what it looks like from the top of Red Oak Mountain, I wanted you to see it, because I mean, this is in our backyard. This is literally in our backyard in Red Oak, and it's a shame that we don't use it more. Now it's on private property, so I mean, you have to. I was fortunate enough to get the permission of the property owners this morning at church to hike through their place and come up the mountain, but it's so cool. So anyway, I'm gonna keep going. I'm still like 100 feet from the top. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I had to stop and rest, but that's what I've got to go over, and you can kind of see where it levels out up there. But then once I get to the top, I'm going to go west and try to come down out by Boggy somewhere. So pray for me. All right, so I got to the top. Now I'm walking along the ridge at the top, and thank the Lord for whoever blazed the trail up here. I'm guessing with a dozer years ago, because you can see where rocks and things have been pushed out of the way. But I mean, it's clear this way and that way. That's east. This is west in front of me. So once you get to the top, so far the path is cut for you. Now, according to Google Earth, which thankfully Verizon, I get a signal up at the top. So that's the other cool thing. If you don't like being disconnected completely from all of civilization, chances are way up here you're going to get a signal. But here's the good news for hiking club purposes. If we can hike this, so maybe next Saturday, and put off the Ouachita Trail for a week or so, you get to the top, and it's fairly easy walking. Now it is dense brush. If it hadn't been for this, whoever cut this trail years ago, if it hadn't been for them, there'd be no walking this. Not without an axe and a shovel to actually clear the trail, but which, looking to the north, which if you came down to the north, you come out at if I'm guessing based on what Google Earth says, you'd come out, if you did just a straight line, you'd come out at Rock Creek Church. But there's places, the further west I go up here, there's places where you could cut a trail. It was just really, really dense back there. And when you first come over the ledge at the top of the mountain, it's pretty dense. A lot of briars. But so far, this is great. Like, there's no work to be done here. This is already a hiking trail. This is amazing. So we'll see where this takes us. Okay, if you can see, like it kind of is starting to open up. Almost looks like you're just gonna go straight up and off. Well, this is, oh, I had to get my hiking stick. This is the boggy end of the mountain. This trail goes all the way to it, and if I've done my research, there should be somewhere, wherever the actual highest point is, there should be a U.S. Geological Survey marker. Holy cow. This just completely opens up. Holy cow. This is incredible. Look at that. There's the Martin's place, the Noah's, the Overs. Look at that. Okay, so having to hike along this ridge to try to come down where the old water tower is. You can't go down that way. That is straight down. That is like, I mean, that's 100 feet down to a cliff, and then it's just a drop to the bottom. My intent was to come down out here on Dennis's place, but that's not gonna happen. So, gonna keep skirting the edge of the ridge. All right, so I'm coming down the southwest side, trying to hit the old water tower road. Here's something I'm learning on my way down. Coming down the mountain is way harder than going up. It's not as steep over here once I made my way around that ridge, but I had to walk along the ridge for a good 200 or 300 yards, maybe not that far, but quite a ways to get away from the steep drop-offs. My knees are killing me. That's what's so hard about going down. All that weight, trying to brace yourself, takes its toll on your knees, the tips of my toes. Every time I take a step and my foot goes forward into my shoe, feels like a nail's being driven into the end of my big toe. So that's something I'll have to keep in mind when I buy trail shoes. This is all like stepping from tiny boulder to tiny boulder. It's beautiful, but there's no There's definitely no blaze trail through here. I kind of missed the top of the mountain when it was cut for me, and hung on a tree where it was cut for me, and all I had to do was walk. Okay, so there's the water tower. I found the water tower road. It's funny, I've always known it's here. My dad took us up here one time when I was a kid. But anyway, back down to Boggy Road we go. And not a moment too soon. My left shoe is about to completely split into two pieces. And even though this is downhill, it's nothing like the downhill I just walked. It's good to know that where that came out though, because after a heavy rain, I'm coming back up here, and I followed basically a creek, a dry creek, which there's some pictures and video of little pools of water, little springs that come out of it that I'll put up with the whole video. But knowing that this road is here now and that little creek is just on the west side of it, I will hike up this road and then hike to the west about 100 yards and see all those little waterfalls. So on my way down to Boggy Road and Boggy Road to Maple to Main Street, and then home.